I'm Elfie Wolf. This is an instructional guide on how to set up a flight computer. We're going to use a basic air transport. The idea is we want to set it up to control it while we fly from one place to another without minimum controls. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to stick it over here. You got to scroll all the way down, edit. You have to have the experimental mode. Browse scripts. That one, we want Orbital Flight Computer. Copy the editor, 19 whatever, hit OK. So that'll put the flight computer in, and then we can set some basic commands that it'll run on its first time. So when it first runs, I want it to run in info mode. That'll tell me information without taking control. We want auto level on, and then we want the auto level to only control one gyro. Let's see. We'll set forward velocity is going to be on ship direction, not velocity. Not really needed. Let's see. Up and down limits. So we don't want to fall really fast. So we'll set velocity limit to 25 meters per second. So it'll go up or down at 25 meters per second. And it'll only accelerate sideways at 25 meters a second. That should be good. And then we're kind of small, so the basic height offset is 100 meters. So we're going to set the height offset to 5 meters because we're kind of tiny. So the first time it's running, it'll read that custom data and run it. Alright, so let's go in here. We want to put the flight computer in the upper right center. So we need to tell the flight computer to use that LCD. So, K. The first thing we need is in the name of the cockpit we're in, we need bracket LCD bracket. That lets the flight computer know, oh, I need to look at that. And then since this is a cockpit, we need to go into here. And you only need the bracket ship status, close bracket, space, and then 2 to let it know to use the upper right LCD. The reason why it's in this format is so that it's compatible with a couple other scripts. The colons in front of it says ignore this for almost all the scripts. They'll ignore that line. My script only looks for those brackets, and then the rest of this is for auto LCD. So now once the flight computer runs, it'll stick it up there. So right now we're sitting on the ground. The whole ship is off. So let's turn on our flight lights. We don't need spotlights. All flight systems online, which will turn on the flight computer. Now we have the flight computer. Well, we have an auto level on off. Oh, let me disconnect from the ground. Now we have this. So auto level, as soon as I try to change level, the auto level will kick in. Well, maybe I want to turn that off. So we're going to go in all blocks, flight computer. I simply named the programming block with a flight computer to now, so we'll drag it down to 7. We're going to run, and we want to turn flight level on off, so that'll be auto level, and if it's auto level with nothing, this basically is a toggle. It turns it on or off. We'll hit confirm. Now info shows auto level on. Hit 7. Auto level just turns off, and now I can do this normally. But if I get really out, it's like, oh no, I just hit auto level, and the auto level system will kick back in, level us out. So, there's auto level. Now, let's go flying somewhere. No, this one's already pre-programmed. And we'll just get rid of all those. Remove, remove, remove. Okay, so the first thing we want to program in is when you're using the flight computer and you want to turn the thing off because it's doing something wonky, you're the human, you're like, I want to be in control. So you can either, there's a couple of ways to do it, but the easiest way I do is just go info. That tells the flight computer, go back in info mode, drop all control. So now, when we hit info, it'll go in info mode. Oh, it's already in info mode. So we want to go flying. Well, you can run it in orbital, altitude, there's also hover mode, which basically goes, what's the current ground? I want to be so high above it. Well, we're going to go long distance traveling, so we're not going to care what's on the ground, so we're going to run it in altitude mode. Alright, let's get over this, because when you first run altitude mode, it's probably going to try and land. So at altitude, we hit altitude, and I misspelled it. Alright, let's try that again. Flight computer, down here, right there. Run. ALTITUDE. Okay, now it goes to altitude mode. The default is minus 1,000 meters, and since it detects there's something under me, it's basically trying to land. It's going to settle at 1 meter per second, and now we landed. Okay, that's nice. We hit info mode, it turns it right back off. You hit altitude, it turns it back on. Well, that's good, but I want current altitude, so let's add that in. So we'll drop in 3. We're going to run, and we will want current altitude. So now, when I hit 3, it's going to set our target altitude to our current altitude. Oh, that's good. But now we're on the ground. So, we're going to set it up and down. So, number 4, we're going to run change altitude by minus 100 meters. And then we'll set the next one to change altitude plus 100 meters. So, we hit 5, we go up target altitude 100 meters. So now we're at 1784. Now let's go up another. So that's how it works. And, oh, I had pre-written the stuff down. So info mode is 1, altitude, current altitude, ship direction mode. Well, we already set the current ship direction, but I'll show you how to set that one too. That's in case you want to change from velocity mode, like if you're orbiting flight and you want to turn your ship sideways, to if your ship's pointing forward, that's the direction it wants to go. So we want to run ship direction. That means forward is the ship nose. Alright, now if we're going forward and we want to stop, we're going to want to set target forward 0 meters a second. So that way if we're going forward, we just hit that and we'll stop. Alright, now let's set a plus and minus. So, to change forward, minus 10 meters. And then change forward, plus 10 meters a second. Yep. So we're in ship direction, we're moving at nothing, and I want to go that way. We're going to go like 100 kilometers. So we're just going to tell the thing to speed up. Let's set it to like 80 meters a second. And now it's going to sit here at this current altitude, constantly in auto leveling. Yeah, it's going to set at 80 meters a second, so I can read a book, goof off, whatever. What else we got to do? And we're doing pretty good. And since I have the flight computer on the right, you can see it there, but it's handy to see it in the front cockpit. And now it's like, okay, I need to adjust my heading to the right by a bunch of degrees, so we'll just simply turn the ship. And now the flight computer is going to automatically adjust it. So we're going forward at 65, we're going to the left at 37, and it's using all the thrusters to adjust us to get us back on forward at 80 meters a second. And there's a little bit of adjustments up and down. And there we go. We're near our target altitude within plus or minus 5 meters. We're rising at 0.1. That's minor. And that's how to set up an orbital flight computer. And then I can go, let's see, I want to stop immediately. Just hit 7, and the flight computer now sets forward to 0. And then worst case is flight computer is just going wonky. We hit the info mode. The flight computer completely drops all control other than the auto level. And now we can fly it normally. go. And that's how to set up a orbital flight computer on a basic ship.